Good day, everyone. Merry meet. My name is Glennis, and I am the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. I want to warmly welcome you to my channel. I want to thank you so much for joining me. You guys are absolutely going to get sick of seeing me here, but I wanted to come on as briefly as possible and share with you all of the things that I put in my Mercury Retrograde oil. Now, doesn't necessarily mean my recipe is the know-all be-all, and but you know what, take from it what you will and leave the rest behind, so to speak. Now, I did have someone probably a week or so ago mention something about rose and the cost of rose and what they used for a substitute. And I absolutely totally appreciate that. But the reality is, yes, rose is not a cheap essential oil. Rose Absolute is not cheap to buy. But I also don't use it, I don't just randomly pour and pour and pour it. Uh, Sometimes I use a little bit of rose oil, a little bit of rose, dried rose in conjunction, because one is going to be super, super concentrated, and the other one's going to be just absolutely pretty. But with that being said, I want to get started, and I'm not going to sit here and make it today because that's going to bore you to death, but I will absolutely share with you what's in it. Now, some of the essential oils I've used are because of their planetary influences with Mercury, and that's, I believe, one of the reasons why this is so incredibly successful. And there's a few other things I use for different reasons, but this is one of those oils that you need, not necessarily to make a gallon of, don't get me wrong, but I do absolutely keep a very goodly container of it in stock, mostly because not only does it work well during a Mercury retrograde, if want to have someone call you, of course you may want to add another little thing into it if you are trying to lure, so to speak, someone or command someone to phone you or come over, or but this is just the very, very basic thing. And I had to even actually get out my old leather-bound grimoire. It's so old, and I've made myself a few notes here. I use frankincense, and again, I have down here 9 drops of frankincense. If you don't have frankincense, although I can't imagine that you don't, but if you don't have frankincense, you can substitute rosemary. And where there is a substitution, I absolutely will tell you. But the reality is like with rose, I don't have a substitute for that. And, if you want to, substitute here and there, then you just go for it. But there's some things like rose and a few other things I find that there are just no substitutes for. But frankincense, if you don't have that, rosemary. I have, let's see, Clary Sage here. You can either use dried sage or Clary Sage oil. Lemongrass, myrrh, sweet marjoram, Ylang Ylang, peppermint. And peppermint helps you with your focus factor. It helps you to focus on, whether it be that email that you're sending or a letter or a text or whatever it is that you're doing. It helps you with your focus. Cedar wood. Cedar wood is very, very grounding. I do have, like, not fresh, but dried cedar here. I do have cedar oil. Whatever you have, whichever one is just fine. And lemon. I use lemon as well. let's see, I have some other notes here because I've got a lot here. Cloves. Again, cloves, is not only good to help if someone is speaking negatively against you, but it does help in communication. And rose, I've already said rose and or rose petals, whatever it is that you have, you simply cannot beat the vibration and the energy that rose has. And this is why I stand by my rose. Let's see, I've already said frankincense and dragon's blood. You can use either the dragon's blood essential oil, or if you have the resin, just grind the resin up. Dragon's blood basically aids everything else and lifts everything else up. You may want to, let's see, there's some more frankincense. And someone has asked me, well, what brands do you use? Well, as you can see here, I have some small, not really a brand. I bought these at my local metaphysical store. Some of these have come from a discount department store. Some has come from, I have a Botanica right up the road. There's a health food store right up the road. There's no one single brand that I use for essential oils. I'm trying and doing my very best to make my own as I have time, and I encourage you to do so as well. But I've got orange here. I think orange works very, very well in here. And let's see what else I've got. Cedar, Ylang Ylang, I've already told you guys that. Myrrh, and I mean, that's the basic gist of it. Lemongrass, cedar, cloves, rose petals, frankincense and or rosemary, dragon's blood, lemon, peppermint, Clary Sage, and sweet marjoram, and Ylang Ylang. And if you want me to, I will absolutely drop the list below. And there's no, two of this, one of that. Use what works for you. Use what carrier oil works for you. If you want to use olive oil, if that's what you've got, then that's certainly fine. But by my telling you all this combination of essential oils and or herbs, whatever it is that you work with, I'm operating under the assumption that all of your carrier oils, your essential oils, your herbs have already been charged. And we've already kind of done that a few weeks ago. So I'm just assuming that they have. Just assuming. But again, if you want to use this on a candle, on a blue candle, if you want to anoint your palms, the bottom of your feet, even the tires of your car. I have a client that they will absolutely put a little bit of this on the tires of their car. But you can use it on a mojo bag. However you feel is the right way for you to use it. Okay? So I hope this helps you guys. Oh, and one of the most important things, I absolutely do use tiger's eye in my oil and hematite in my oil. So I almost forgot those. I didn't bring those out because I've been really super, super busy. So I apologize for that. But tiger's eye and hematite. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Merry part, and I hope to merry meet again. Goodbye, guys.